Well, now, greetings and salutations, everybody. Good to see everybody. How's everybody doing this fine afternoon? I had a little bit of time between getting ready to head out for the field trip fairly soon, so I decided, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's play play Cuisineer for a little bit, Cuisineer. You know, it's weird. I always have trouble with the name of this game. I always want to call it one thing when it's really something else. It's I don't know. Oh good, it's loaded. Let's get going. Audio should be okay. If there's ever any problems with the audio, please let me know. Okay, so what do we have for the quests? Okay. Right. There's a lot of tasty spice I have to get. I am still not very fond of the amount of loading screens in this particular game, but I still adore this game. Oh, you've got a quest, huh? New side dishes. All right. Ooh, hello. That looks nice. Rich and melted cheese on top of a baked potato blended with creamy textures and fresh savory seasonings. You know, that gives me an idea. I need to do something with a potato coming up in a cooking contest. I don't know, maybe something with a baked potato. I need to actually sit down and figure out what I'm going to do for that. Because it's one hell of a unique situation I've got going on. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn this in. Now don't get me wrong, cheese is pretty good. But I don't know why you'd be wanting to experiment with all that cheese. That is insanely expensive for some garland. You know, I love this guy's style. He's got a recipe for a really fine pork chop, and above all else, it's really close what my favorite kind of meat is. I love a finely roasted pork, but at the same time, seafood is so common and so abundant. It's a real toss up. Vegetables deep fried in warm batter. Huh. That might be an idea. To get some of my friends to eat their vegetables. All right, another pass around the area. Hello, Artificer. What is it that you need? Mushrooms, huh? I might have some. Honestly, I think that you and I would get along. I think that we'd get along pretty well. You seem the type that's always tinkering on this and that, and I'm definitely the type that's always tinkering on this and that. And I've got an idea that I'm working on right now. I'm not quite sure how to put it into production quite yet, but what I'm thinking about is I've been hearing stories about what's the word in common for it? I've been hearing stories about these translucent crystals that are able to store like memories and fragments within them, where if you hold it and you focus on it, you're able to see what's stored inside of the crystal, right? Well, I'm thinking letters can be forged. Letters can be modified or embellished. But if you want to send something to somebody, why not just straight up inscribe your memories into a crystal? That way, not only do you get the point across more succinctly than just in words, especially if you're dealing with multiple languages, it also gives it more of a primal feel to it. If I can get the recording process done properly, I might be able to send some of the letters back home, which could be very interesting. Because back home, we've never seen a blue dragon before. We've never seen a green dragon before. And to let home know that these things exist in other planes of existence is absolutely baffling, to be completely honest with you. But you know what? I think I'm gonna call me a little bit bold. Call me a little bit cocky. I'm going to try to do this dungeon with no boba. No healing. I'm going to go as long as I can without it. If I see any healing fountains, maybe I'll use those, but we'll see what happens. The weapons in this game is fascinating, but a little bit weird. Although, I would like to see somebody's face if I just hauled off and smacked them with a giant fish. Okay, so we've got a lot of rocks and resources. Okay. Seems like one of those things where whenever you're after, like if you're doing a pure ingredients run, you always find tons and tons of rocks. But at the same time, if you, I don't know, if you're after ingredients, you fill up so dang fast on... If you're after only ingredients, you fill up so dang fast on resources. And if you're going after resources only, you get so many ingredients. Maybe it's just a matter of tricking yourself into thinking, into going what you want. Like tricking the fates for it. You know, I kind of dig the fact that I'm going with a lot of fire on this. I've been doing a little bit of research as to what the various kinds of status afflictions are in this game. I've been playing a fair bit in my off time. Because we've been stuck in this hotel room for a little bit longer than I expected. I figured we'd be heading out to the dig site by now, but hey. That just means that Salas and I can raid these hotel rooms every day, am I right? Who knows what everybody's been doing, what everybody's been getting up to in the meantime. Although, speaking of ideas, these creatures, these little puffballs, they remind me of a little bit of soot sprites, which is very interesting. But it makes me wonder, since I'm beginning to delve into the aspect of magical foods, I wonder if I can take some food and enchant it to where it can, like, become a sentient creature, like these little hot peppers, these chili lizards. I wonder if I can turn one of these into, like, a familiar or something. Ooh, I am not looking good right now. I think ooh. Health is looking a little bit low. But I can't heal this round. I want to see how far I can get without healing. I despise these green little tadpole creatures. I can only imagine it's going to get even worse as we go to like other locations, because given the size of that map, there's no doubt more than just 2 dungeons. If I unlock the first one when I paid off the taxes, I imagine that I'm going to be unlocking the others when I pay up on the other taxes. Ooh, orichalcum, huh? I've been tinkering around. I've been tinkering with other things. I've been drafting and sketching as of late, trying to get ideas for upgrades and other things. Like, I've gotten a fair supply of, like, dragon fangs, dragon claws, and other items like that, but I don't know, I'm kind of torn on what to do with them first. Like, I've got an open project since I've just finished my latest project, Dapplewing's Righteous Fury, but I don't know if I want to start tinkering while I'm still on the field trip, or if I want to just hold off and wait until, you know, until we get back to Strixhaven before I start tinkering again. Given the limited supplies, And if the start of this trip is any kind of indication of how the rest of it's going to go, things might be tricky. You know, I will confess that I do like the cocky attitude of these chickens. Like, they run up to you like they're about to start something, but the moment you take one down, they turn tail and run. That is a lot of creatures just pouring out of that hole towards me. I mean, I'm not going to refuse all this additional fatty meat. Although I don't understand the exact specifications of these traps and why these traps are set exactly where they are. Somebody looks like they've had a lot of fun just setting up and building these traps. Alright, more puffballs. And we've got the Rice Warriors, the Rice Sprites. Yeah, that's kind of a nice name, a Rice Sprite. Although they seem rather tanky. More chickens, more pigs. Alright, nothing over there. I have got to be careful. I am so low on health. Yep, that figures. It figures that I'd go down to a coconut tree. It is, you will be surprised how dangerous coconut trees are. Like, we lose a couple members of the tribe every year to just getting hit by a coconut and going down. That or the coconut cracks you on the head, you lose grip of the tree, and you fall. And believe it or not, when you're stunned from a coconut just cracking you in the face, more often than not, you do not land on your feet, as much as the human sayings go. Alright, let's get this quest done so we can try to unlock a new recipe. Hash browns are nice. Yeah, I should try cooking hash browns one day. Daedalus insists on eating things with one hand. Maybe well, I've been cooking a lot of burritos. Let's see, burritos, burritos, muffins, maybe something. Maybe take the contents of a complete breakfast, cook them all together, mix them, cut them up, mix them all together, and then cook the contents. Like potato, egg, bacon in, and make some kind of like ball, like a potato ball. Hold up. Okay, hear me out. Tell me what you think, chat. Take a potato. Chop it up real fine. Almost like you're going to hash brown it. Take your bacon. Chop it up real good. Mix the potato. Mix the finely cut potato with the bacon. Mush it into a ball. Then coat it in egg wash. Then put it into flour. Back into the egg wash. Flour again. And then fry it. Granted, depending on the size of it, it would be crunchy. It'd have the bacon, it'd have the eggs. Maybe that'd be something for like a breakfast for dinner kind of thing. You get the starchiness of the potatoes, you get the saltiness of the bacon. And it'd be quick enough where you could just have a bowl of it and eat it with one hand. Here's an idea. Ooh, fried rice. What you got for me? You need sunstone. I'm fairly certain I've got at least some sunstone. Oh ho ho! You're gonna give me the recipe for pizza? Oh hell yeah. You know, pizza's great. Depending on how you top it, it's all the basic food groups in one dish. You've got your carbohydrates with the bread, with the dough and the crust. You've got your vegetables with either the tomato sauce or the toppings. You've got your dairy with the cheese. And depending on your toppings, you've got the meat on top of it. Fantastic dish. All around a good dish. Alright, here's your sunstone. Give me the pizza. Although this pizza looks a little bit overcooked and there's not enough cheese on it in my personal opinion, but, you know, we can make do. Okay, so I've got 9. Do I have enough to run the store? Okay, need more to be able to upgrade this. Need more hardwood to be able to upgrade that. Now I think I'm going to go out and get some more supplies. This time, however, I I don't think I'm going to screw around this time. This time I'm just straight up going to get supplies and use my healing potions. Speaking of healing potions, I need to start collecting more of those with my alchemy jugs. Hello, chicken. Goodbye, chicken. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I've been playing this a fair bit on my off time, even whenever I'm not here doing this. This game is fascinating. It's simply fascinating. I thoroughly enjoy it. What about you, chat? What do you think about this particular game? Is it up your alley, or are you kind of giving it a pass? Get over here, piggy. I want me some bacon. We've already approached the stairs down. Interesting. I do enjoy how these rooms, how the room down, the room with the stairs, always has an abundance of resources. And they're always in the exact same spot on this particular level. That is a lot of chickens. Those chickens are on fire and running away. I'll tell you what, it does not feel good. Then again, I'm pretty sure that everybody can kind of figure out that being on fire wouldn't feel good. So far, I think these coconut trees are probably one of my least favorite entities. Just the fact that they drop explosives. Although, I imagine that they could be good for harvesting resources. They drop their grenades, and then they blow up the resources around them. We're in a room, huh? Alright, let's see what we got in here. Alright, 12 of those little leafy creatures. Let's go. Probably going to be a second round of them after this. So the important thing is to zip around and get them as quick as possible, which is surprising to nobody. I wonder if I could make something that would just act as a harasser. Ah, greetings and salutations, Protoss103. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. How goes your day? I hope it is well. Fine? Good. Things are going well here. We still haven't left for the dig site yet. We're still in the hotel. On the... I don't know if it's on the Sultan's copper or if it's on Strixhaven's, but hey, I'm not complaining. This coffee is real good. Although we have to make sure that somebody in the group goes to Daedalus's room and takes his coffee every day. We cannot let him have that coffee. Huh, that's interesting. I imagine it'd be quite terrifying to come face to face with a red dragon. Although, let's see. Good afternoon. Unfunny joke. When Arkoff laughs, does it count as casting Shatter at first level? I mean, Shatter is typically a second circle of magic. Although it might be considered Tasha's hideous laughter. Let's see. When it comes to the things that I've met a blue dragon. I've met a green dragon. I've met a dragon. Well, I haven't met her, but she's seen me, and I think I've seen her, but we haven't talked. I've seen a red dragon that has 5 heads. One blue, white, green, black, and red. Although Deborah and Frank say not to mess with her, that she's under house arrest and she's just trying to get somebody to help her get out of house arrest. Let's see, I've met Prismari, Lorehold, Quandrix, Silverquill, and Witherbloom. Those are all the dragons that I've met. Although I don't count the gold one, the silver one, and the bronze one from back home, because I've never met them. I've heard of them, but I've never met them. True American Reject, how are you doing today? It's good to see you. Okay, a boar with tusks and a bunch of rice sprites. Wow, we've got 3 harassers, a whole bunch of rice sprites, and a boar. So we've got the melee, we've got the tanks, DPS, and the rangers. Ooh. Hopefully we don't have a healer at this point. Okay, this round is doing so much better than the last round. But the problem is, with a successful round, given that half my bag I can't use right now, I have a feeling that I'm going to be spending like half this run just tossing items and trying to collect what I want. Because I want to go as far as I can in this dungeon. I find it fascinating how the pigs, the very round boys, their primary assault, their primary attack is just poisonous gas. I cannot get past these things without taking damage to save my life. Doing pretty good. Worked. Opened some cards at a card shop after. Nice! It's been a while since I've been able to... It's been a while since I've collected any kind of, like, collectible cards. I hope you pulled something rare. What was it? I wonder what game it is that people have been playing on campus. I saw that like two people were playing cards, and then Goldblum fell on top of them. That's a big chicken. That's a big black chicken. I could say something else. I'm pretty sure if Belky was here, she'd be saying it. Alright, so it spits poison, which means I have to use my fiery dash to my advantage. Hachi Machi! Look at you! Hell yeah, true American reject. Get them gains. What kind of game is that? What kind of packs have you been pulling from? Oh, that's so much wood, and I really want all this wood. The wood, you know, wood is needed for upgrading and upgrading the shop, upgrading tables, so on and so forth. This is so much wood. I know, right? I looked over, saw your reflection as I was saying that. How you doing, Salas? It's very good wood. Indeed. Yeah. Go ahead. I've come across a big black chicken, which I'm pretty sure was a male chicken. You can... I was thinking the exact same thing. True. Apparently... I found the problem. There was a connector that wasn't connected. So hopefully, you should now be able to hear Salus.
Well, people weren't listening to my dulcet tones before.
Apparently, I had there was a connector that wasn't set that made it so that people couldn't hear you.
This is why I don't understand why they even have Dispel Magic options for connectors.
Yeah. But they should be, chat, are you able to hear him now? Let's see, Pokemon One Piece, Weiss, Schwartz, Avatar, RWBY. I have no idea what any of those mean. And some of those magic packs hoping for Jurassic Park cards.
That's a lot of words that are they like brands or something?
Apparently they've been talking about cards. Like, True American Reject has been talking about, like, opening card packs. I think that has to do with, like, whatever card game the folks on campus have been playing.
You know, I was wondering about that. We actually have one of those cards in our possession, don't we?
Yeah, I think it was when Daedalus accidentally dropped Goldblum on a pair that was playing those card games.
You know, I never actually heard about the circumstances of that. I'm just now trying to imagine how Daedalus could possibly drop a Goldblum.
So, you know how Daedalus likes to experiment with his spells, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was experimenting with, I believe it was Vortex Warp, one of his teleportation spells.
Oh. Now I gotcha. I'd forgotten he had that in his repertoire.
Yep. And unfortunately, when he teleported Goldblum, he unfortunately teleported him in the wrong direction and teleported that boy outside.
Obviously, he was fine after everything, but I imagine that Goldblum's hardy enough that he could survive a, pretty decent fall.
Yeah, thankfully they were in, I believe, Daedalus's dorm room and not mine.
Rooster Tooths? Do roosters have teeth? I don't think they have teeth, do they?
I think it's like the beak has like small serrated edges on the inside, or is that ducks or geese?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was geese. Geese, assholes.
They really are.
They really like to strut around and pretend like they own the joint.
Swans are even worse.
They're just lucky that they got good PR. I'm just saying. Birds are jerks.
A lot of birds are assholes. You know what? I've been tinkering with this idea, and I was curious about your feedback for it. Well, I've been tinkering with a few ideas. So, you know how a lot of us have been writing letters back home, right? So I thought to myself, how can we improve upon a letter? And, I thought about going the route of the books that Morg showed us. The ones where you actually go into it and you're able to see and experience it. And that got me to thinking, what if you could store like a memory inside of a crystal? And then when you hold the crystal, that memory is kind of sent into your brain. So you can experience the memory through like somebody else's senses for just a moment.
Interesting. How that could be a nice way to use the senses, but I also see potential problems with kind of going in and out and in and out, and there might also be questions of ego and persona at that point.
Right. Although it would be more like viewing it kind of like a scrying orb.
Now, see that I could see as a bit better. Full-on immersion is great, but at some point, I feel like it could potentially go a little too deep. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to be real careful with that because if you're not careful, people will start using that for sheer escapism. And escapism, while can be useful, can be extremely dangerous.
It is a well that has no bottom, save for how deep you wish to go.
What if it were a food that you could eat? That'd be interesting.
You know, I have heard that taste is one of the strongest senses to tie to memory.
Taste and smell.
Taste and smell. Well, those are basically tethered to one another as well, so.
Very true. Because if you lose your sense of smell, it also extremely dampens your taste as well.
Say what you will about the cafeteria food, but it's actually we're lucky that we have such fine chefs at the place, and even luckier to have one such as yourself. Just makes you appreciate all the options available.
Given where we are and how much of a hub Strixhaven is, I'm not surprised at the sheer amount of options that we have. I mean, if you look at some of the restaurants and everything around the area, this seems to be like a hub of culinary arts. With the sheer amount of ingredients you can get, not only here but also in the ley lines and everything like that. Plus, there's a multiverse renowned chef in Witherbloom.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try and get in on that.
Be sure to take some friends with you because troll food, big portions, extremely big portions.
Oh, that makes sense. Sadly, I'm not exactly a big heavy eater, so that is very good to know.
Mm-hmm. I've also been, speaking of the culinary arts, I've been brainstorming something else something to add to breakfast, which this game gave me an idea for. So so their hash browns is this small square brick of potato that's been fried. What I was thinking is, take potato, chop it up real fine, take bacon, chop it up real fine, mix them together in something similar like the brick or maybe some kind of a large ball, egg wash flour, and then fry it. And that would give everybody the full breakfast, but at the same time, it would be something that could be easily transported, easily portable, and one of those things that you could grab while you're studying or what have you, or pulling a Daedalus and doing whatever it is that he does with his book.
I assume he just gets sustenance from it.
I imagine that if he could figure out some kind of a spell that would just let him not eat anymore, he absolutely would.
Part of me is wondering if his desire to be more in tune with time has to do with, well, with work, getting more work done on his book, you know?
So you think that if he could, he'd freeze time just so he could spend more time researching?
Oh, 100%.
That's an interesting theory.
At the end of the day, all Dales really wants to do is cook up new spells, expand his repertoire, and make sure that he and his sister have a good journey here at Strixhaven. And that's respectable. It just so happens that everything seems to be conspiring to get in his way, and he is not very good at adapting.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how much things have gone wrong for us in like the first semester of this school.
Do seem to be real magnets for it. Makes me wonder about how this trip's gonna go.
Oh, I have a feeling that it's going to go wrong, and it's going to go wrong fast.
It already kind of has. We were just lucky that the Sultan was there to help out.
In what regards, dragging the creature off, or
Yeah. Keeping an eye out of the waters.
fair? Although up to that point, we had fairly smooth sailing.
That's true, and that is quite respectable. Must. I still don't quite know what to make of the Sultan. I can't even say that I've got a hunch about him. It's just a big old question mark of 30 different ways.
That's the way the dragons always are. Dragons always
Alright.
find a position of power. I mean, look at every dragon that we've met. Most of them have been in some kind of position of power. Founders of the school, heads of the school, sultans. The three back home basically rule an entire empire. The only one that we've met that hasn't done anything like that was, Gru. And that was because he
And
didn't
he
have...
would've- He would have absolutely done so if given the chance, though. We know that for sure.
Oh, he was trying. He was absolutely trying. That's why he kidnapped the folks that he did kidnap.
Glad we got that big green thorn out of our hair, that's for sure.
I still need to figure out how to prepare that meat.
Yeah, poison's a tricky thing to work around.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you can... It's definitely going to be concerning, because the last thing I want to do is serve poisoned meat. But at the same time, if you can cook it properly, you can likely negate it, or depending on how you cook it.
Heck, if you're really skilled, you could probably find a way to turn that poison into a spice.
True enough. You'd be surprised how often, how careful you have to be when dealing with poisonous meat. There's a fish back home that if you don't cut it right, it will kill you.
That seems extremely hazardous.
It is. Which is why we usually don't eat that particular fish. Granted, we'll use the poison. Absolutely we'll use the poison.
Though I have to say that probably sounds... First of all, I have to assume that this fish is absolutely delicious non-stop. Otherwise, people wouldn't even gamble on the chance.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have to imagine that that's got to be some sort of a rite of passage. You know, a sign of skill for a particular chef.
Those that specialize in that kind of thing, absolutely, if they're able to do it. But then again, most of... Back home, we're not, how do you say, the most civilized, we still follow a lot of the old ways. Like, we still live in, oh, what's the word for it? We haven't moved to, like, wood and concrete buildings.
So what do you use instead?
Like, for the roofings, we use a lot of, like, palm leaves and thatch and so on and so forth. There are various reeds and, not quite bamboo-like, but you can use, those are very sturdy materials for building with. When I say wood, I'm talking about like a log cabin kind of thing.
Well, I can't exactly imagine sleeping in one of those, but I will say that you said that you on kind of a tropical island, yeah?
Uh-huh.
I have to imagine that those are especially easy to put back up after a storm.
Exactly.
Can't exactly put a impressive mage's tower that's going to get toppled over at the first sign of wind in that particular environment.
And the thing about it is, the farther you go out into the ocean, the worse the storms get. Like, they get real, real bad. The farther you go out, the warmer the waters get, and the bigger things get.
It reminds me of that thing that we saw when we were out traveling, the storm that had the something in it.
Yeah.
Think anything like that might be hanging out off the coast?
Oh, no doubt. Here? Not sure. Back home? More than likely. Like, I imagine that there's things that are even bigger than the thing that we fought under the waters. And
oh yeah, I suppose that'd be true.
And
a lot of room to grow in the deep dark depths.
Oh yeah. Down in the deep dark, there's always a bigger fish. Like, I can only imagine, like, we've seen that the dragons hunted the octopus that we fought. But I wonder what else could hunt that thing underwater.
Now I'm currently imagining an anglerfish that's about the size of a city block.
I could see it. Hey, Iapetus, how's it going? Restaurant's going well. We've unlocked a few new recipes, including pizza.
We've discovered a new recipe.
We've discovered many new recipes. Although I do want to upgrade my shop before long. Because I've only got 2 particular workstations, and I really want more than that. It was onigiri. I've picked up hash browns, I've picked up pizza, I've picked up onigiri, I've picked up chashu ramen. That's something that I haven't seen on campus a whole lot.
See, I've never actually seen this style of food myself. It isn't exactly popular in the circles that I've traveled in.
Although I imagine you could put a fair bit of spice into it.
I'll have to ponder on this.
Although pizza it's worth 160 some odd gold here, so that's not bad.
Oh, that must be a heck of a pizza.
Mm-hmm. Well, then again, like the cheapest thing is 20-something gold.
Oh, alright. So it's more about their prices being a little bit skewed compared to us.
Right. Like upgrading a weapon is 1,000 gold. Upgrading even the most basic workstation is like 750.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking that our pizzas, if we had them, would probably fetch maybe our gold. And that's for the deluxe.
Well, depending on where you get it.
True, true.
I mean, if you go down to the ley line, that thing would probably be 20, 30 gold. Depending on how you get it and where it came from. I have just, yes. Hash browns are potatoes that you take it and slice it very finely. And then you either fry them or cook them until they're golden brown. Although I am considering like taking potatoes and cutting them down into like small sticks, and then frying those. Adding a little bit of salt, maybe some condiments to the side.
I don't know about that. It doesn't seem like it really catch on to me.
No?
I think I'm not a big fan of fried foods anyways. Just seems like it just gives you heartburn and nothing else.
I hope it just seems to like the idea. So
well, what do I know? I'm just one guy.
Oh no, your tastes are absolutely valid. While you may not be a fan of the more fried food, what do you prefer? Seared, baked, broiled?
Grilled. Oh, give me something on a grill. I'm in heaven.
Ah. So you're more of a steak person, or like a grilled chicken, or what have you.
Oh, absolutely. Nice kebab. Fantastic. Give me some tomatoes, perhaps a couple peppers. Best way to have vegetables.
Speaking of kebabs, believe it or not, there's actually a weapon in this game that is a giant kebab.
It's good for skewering.
Exactly. It is technically considered a spear.
Now, do you get to, if you stab someone, do you walk around with them? Are they just part of the skewer now?
No, unfortunately. So, the skewer absolutely has various pieces of items on it. Like, various pieces of meats and what have you. And so what you do is, for your special attack for it, you actually fire those pieces of, you fire everything off of the skewer at the person or the entity that you're fighting. It then explodes when you fire a laser from the kebab.
I see Iapetus has a nice take on it. Has real meaty attacks.
Indeed. Also, Iapetus is talking about dipping the potato slivers or the potato wedges into a smoothie.
What?
I could see it. Like the flavor combination of both salt and sweet at the same time. Hot and cold. Firm and soft.
Okay. So I was very perplexed at the beginning, but that does actually sound kind of nice.
Depending on how well you can make the smoothie. Or maybe ice cream.
Do love me some ice cream. I've never been much of a dessert guy, but I think that may be akin to my love of spicy things. But oh boy, if spicy and sweet does not go together.
That makes me curious to try to make some kind of an ice cream out of like hot peppers.
Perhaps something with a bit of a, I don't know. No, I guess that one wouldn't. I was about to think something with an earthy tone like molasses, but that wouldn't exactly mesh with ice cream.
True, although from what I figured, the one thing that would be a problem with like spicy peppers and ice cream is the oil which causes the spice would be completely drowned out by the cream and the ice cream.
So it would be a matter of how strong the oil is.
Fair. So we have to get something incredibly spicy, because we know that it would be drowned out and it'd be weakened by the cream. An interesting theory, no doubt.
I would probably avoid the jalapeno peppers. That's a little too tart for ice cream, if you ask me. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Spicy hot chocolate, so we could do spicy chocolate ice cream afterwards.
That's an interesting theory. Although I sit here and I imagine what spicy hot chocolate would be. Although you can make spicy chocolate. Just combine the ingredients with some kind of a very hot pepper or pepper oil.
Maybe it's a bit of you and Belky rubbing off on me, but I came up with a bit of a devilish idea.
Ooh.
Bit of a prank that you could pull on someone.
Do tell.
So y'all know how there's the chocolate-covered strawberries that are oh so delicious, and a nice mix of chocolate and sweetness to go along with, yeah?
Yeah, the cherries that have got that gooey filling, and then there's the chocolate around it.
Exactly. Now, I personally prefer the strawberries in the chocolate, but I think that's why I thought of this. You see, there's a small pepper that comes about the size and shape of a strawberry that if you just happen to dip in chocolate and hide amongst the other particular berries, say 1 in 12, be a bit of a mean surprise to someone.
Or make a game out of it.
That would be interesting.
Like,
hold up. Let me find. Go ahead.
Like, you go into it knowing that like one out of there's six chocolates, or there's 12 chocolates, and you know going in that one of them is going to get you, but which one is it? And the group has to take turns to see who's going to get got.
Hold up, I'm reading a book about this. I'm actually looking at a book about this right now. It's kind of what gave me the idea. Let me take a look. Here we are. Let me open up the page here. This is the pepper in particular, named after scorpions, I believe.
Yeah, scorpions are. Ugh.
Doesn't that quite just look like a ripe old strawberry if you happen to slather some chocolate on top?
I can see it. I can absolutely see it.
Now, I would absolutely be willing to try this as a gamble. This is my kind of gamble with no money involved, but just, you know, luck and fun.
That'd be something. Ooh. It just has the name of it. The Sweet Roulette.
Ooh, sweet roulette. Ooh, that's not a terrible idea.
That's something, like, that's something that I could package and sell on campus.
Oh, that would absolutely be something to do with your 4 buddies when you're just trying to do something to pass the time while you're trying to ignore your studying.
Make it a punishment. Maybe make it something like a study game, where if you get a question wrong, you have to take one of the sweets. And you know eventually it's gonna get there.
It's gonna get there. Is it tagine? Tajin? I'm not entirely. I've never actually seen the word. I don't know how to pronounce it. On watermelon, that could be interesting.
I've not had spicy ice cream, but I've heard some students in campus like to make spicy hot chocolate. Maybe ground ginger and ground hot pepper flakes and cocoa. Maybe if the pepper flakes could dissolve. Sorcerer named Tajin has a special powder to sprinkle on iced mangoes.
Tagine, that's how it's pronounced. Got it. Mangoes are actually really good for dealing with heat.
Watermelon is a very interesting kind of melon. The sheer size, the color, how it grows. Like, I've heard some folks in Witherbloom are actually trying to grow them in squares for easier stacking.
I hear that I've actually heard the same rumor. Turns out that if they deem something a failure, they take a big old stick, whack it, and they try to make a game about it, splitting it down the middle.
It's interesting how different cultures have different games.
It is actually an interesting way of things catching on and what's important and not.
I heard there's a cult to the watermelon Suika god. Would not surprise me.
I'm sorry, I heard cult and then my mind went elsewhere.
Yeah. I've had my fair share of dealing with cults as of late.
Don't worry, the fur looks nice, by the way.
Yeah. It gets used. It takes some getting used to. I mean, it's definitely an icebreaker. I'll give them that.
True. And in a way, it's also a cult breaker.
Yeah. Fair. Granted, they did try to break me with it, and that's how I got it.
Heh. That's a good question, Ampetus. Why do we find cults everywhere?
Yeah, I don't know. God hates us. Excuse me, the gods hate us.
I mean, all it takes is just one of them to hate us, so you might be right the first time around.
Fair. Although I wonder which one it is.
The better question is, who offended them and in what way? Alright, hold up. Now I'm curious. Here's the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of us has irritated some god. How did we irritate them? And which god?
Ooh. That's an interesting one.
See, I'm thinking mine's a little bit of the easy one. Me and Pops and my mom, we probably uh, wound up in the wrong person's tomb, may or may not have desecrated something that shouldn't have been left on a shelf that might have been tipped over, broken, smashed. So it really could be anything as far as I'm concerned.
So
or maybe the guy.
anything
Sorry,
within, like anything with the grave domain, would probably not appreciate you going in and being archaeologists.
Oh, absolutely. I have to imagine that the grave just absolutely despises our profession.
Mm-hmm. Although that leads me to wonder, how long does it take before it goes from grave robbing to archaeology?
In general, the best rule of thumb is, does the civilization it was a part of still exist? If so, it's grave robbing. If not, it's archaeology.
One of my past lives pissed off a winter court. Oh, don't mess with the Fae.
Yeah, we're not gonna give them the time of day, and certainly not our names.
Which, yeah, that's a little bit troubling, because I'm pretty sure the Green Lady is a Fae.
Green Lady? My mind's slipping on me right now.
So the Green Lady is from every depiction that I've seen and heard from her, she is a pixie, but she represents love in all its forms, both familial and romantic love. The Green Lady is the entity that I've had the most relationship with, so to say. The necklace of the flower that I always wear around my neck, it's her holy symbol, basically.
That makes a lot of sense. Honestly, having a fey creature being in charge of love in all its forms honestly just makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, from what I remember, most fey are particularly fickle, and so is love.
It absolutely can be. That's one of the reasons why when I left my old school and I came here, I lost my abilities for a while. Because believe it or not, I used to try the whole wizard thing that Daedalus is doing. And didn't quite work out, unfortunately. I found I had a better knack for making stuff than, putting my nose in the books.
That's fair. I feel like if you had gone down the wizard path, just looking at poor Daedalus and all things he's gone through, I feel like if you had gone down that path, it would have just been a roller coaster of non-stop. I hesitate to say excitement, but I really do think you're in a much comfier spot than if you had gone the wizard route.
I kind of agree with you. I mean, granted, it took me a while, but I think that I've been starting to garner, like, how to put this into common. Given everything that I've been doing here in Strixhaven, I think I've been getting her favor back. Because apparently I did, when I left my previous school, I did something to lose her favor. And I lost a lot of my capabilities back then. But now I'm starting to, if it makes sense, I'm starting to get them back. Like, how I can heal, or how I can you know, change my shape. That's something that I can't naturally do. I can only do those because she grants me the ability to. But I'm not like I don't I'm not a cleric. Like I don't do that entire thing, but I'm it's a weird mishmash of like divine and arcane where I don't study the arcane like Daedalus does. I'm not a bard like Belky. I'm not a sorcerer, but I'm this weird mishmash hybrid.
You're just pulling magic from everywhere, from your own brain, from the materials around you. You
Little
make it
bit.
work. Though, I'm circling back to the Green Lady, and you're wondering how, like, your powers were gone and slowly they're coming back. Maybe the Green Lady, since she was upset that you were leaving, and that all of the bonds of platonic, non-platonic love that you had cultivated were dashed.
Plausible. A very plausible theory. Like, given what happened at that particular school, we kind of got tossed to the winds, so to speak. And now that I've gotten into a place where I can start building on those relationships again, I'm starting to build those kind of relationships back, and I've managed to find relationships that are just as strong. Maybe that's why she's showing her favor back again. That is a very plausible theory, Salus.
Yeah. Of course, it is just a theory, so we don't know exactly for sure, but it does. I like to think it sounds plausible.
And you did say that Fae are very fickle.
Mm-hmm. So she allows you to utilize some of her arcane abilities depending on your behaviors or internal aura. Question from my Eptus.
That's a like it's a weird combination of things that I'm able to do, my gadgets, and what she allows me to do. Like a lot of the stuff just comes from my gadgets and my tinkering, but anything that like specifically my healing, anytime that I heal any of you, like curative aspects, my ability to change my shape and change my form, that kind of stuff comes from her, whereas a lot of the high damaging stuff comes from the gadgets and tinkering and things that I've made. But she does allow me to utilize. She does grant me some particular abilities. Although I don't know why.
Some scientific abilities. You would say you enjoy these abilities, right?
I like being able to tinker, yes.
Would you say that tinkering is something you love to do?
Oh my gods. You serious? That's a very plausible idea. Why haven't I seen that until this point? Oh.
You okay over there, Endair?
I'm okay. Aw. It's like when you realize something that's been right in front of your face the entire time and you never realized it.
Oh, I hate that. Well, Epiphanies do hurt. Actually, while you're recovering from that particular revelation, let's move on to Iapetus. What god or greater being do you think Iapetus accidentally angered?
I mean, my first initial, my gut reaction is some kind of a, well, my gut reaction is some kind of a god of the hunt. But at the same time, that particular god might favor her because of what she does and where she goes. Maybe some kind of a god of monstrosities.
There are different... there are different beings that cover the same domain. As Iapetus is rightly pointed out, it depends on the plane that you're attached to. So, it may not even be that... I could see something along the lines of unintentionally taking someone else's hunt. Like, imagine if you will, for example, that you are some warrior out to claim vengeance on a beast that took the lives of your loved one, and a god of the hunt came out and said, I shall grant you the powers to do so, gave you the abilities, the skills, everything you need to fulfill your life's purpose, only for it to be discovered that some woman named Iapetus already beat you to the punch. Now how's that gonna look for that particular god who's got egg on their face at that point?
Oh, I can tell you this as the son of a huntress. If you steal my mother's kill, you are going to know about it. Oh my! By the gods, are you going to know about it?
See, that seems to line up. Not from this plane, but it's quite possible siblings and disrupted the hunt. Aha! I think Iapetus might be given an epiphany of their own. Alright. Well, I think that's a fair enough speculation at that point. Don't want to... At this point, I kind of want to focus on the rest of our party just so we don't actually have any more epiphanies. We've had a lot of those today.
True American Reject, to answer your question, I hope it's the first, but you can never tell whenever it comes to the Fae.
Ain't that the truth?
Daedalus definitely pissed off Loth.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that might not even be Daedalus' fault. That might just be residual from his family.
Mm-hmm. So we've got Belky and Goldblum left.
Alright. These are both hard for different reasons. Goldblum... I'm not sure Goldblum ever intentionally offended anyone. He just seems like that kind of a guy, you know?
It'd be somebody with a lot of intelligence. It'd be a god that has a lot of intelligence and probably some kind of, like, extremely logical god. Because of the way that Goldblum acts and the way that he carries himself could be seen as illogical.
I could see that. He could, like, Goldblum doesn't mean it, but this logical god is just completely upset that Goldblum just chucks everything out the window. Kind of flies in the face of his existence almost.
The most basic analogy I can make is take Goldblum and put Goldblum in the middle of the Quandrix campus.
Oh, if I feel like this is probably something the Quandrix campus would get. All these Quandrix people are trying to divide things into group, quantify them, understand, and here comes Goldblum, the zero of quantifying.
Exactly. He doesn't mean it, but, you know, his mere existence is a slight to everything that you're trying to accomplish.
Oh, absolutely. That is absolutely what it is.
He was not raised by other Goliaths, right? Is it possible that a god that many Goliaths revere would be betrayed, that Goldblum would not recognize it, him, her, them?
That's a fair point. He was, I believe, raised by dwarves. I don't know enough about Goliath culture, though.
Low-key, I still say that this man gives the best hugs.
I mean, do you see the amount of fluff going on there?
Him soft. And this one is an absolute asshole. He is literally peacocking right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's a monocle involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much a sure sign. Porcini. Most of these have had some sort of food-related pun. I've never heard of porcini, though.
It does sound like a type of dish that has a lot of like bread. It reminds me of like a bready or like a pasta dish.
Yeah, like something that would go good in a marinara.
Yeah. It might be because like it reminds you of fettuccine.
That could be it. Or like portobello fettuccine.
Exactly.
Mix the two. Now I'm getting hungry.
Hey, that is just how it goes when you are either A, around me, or B, playing this game.
Ain't that the truth? I'm gonna go see what's in the minibar real quick. I'll be right back.
Sounds like a plan. We need to clear out that minibar. So, Iapetus, what are you up to at the moment? Nice. I've been sketching a lot of stuff as well. Coming up with new ideas for gear and things that we're going to need. discover any new recipes for coffees or the like? There, now have these 10 pizzas. Ooh, ho, ho. Now this is a good looking pizza. Fire Jolt mentioned adding some festive decor for the looming holidays. Kalmshan has been a wonderful inspiration. Part of me wonders if before we leave town we should stop by the shops and see what's going on. Because you can only imagine what kind of, like, supplies they have here. Then, just grab the coffees, hide them in your bags, and bring them back to Strixhaven. That's what we're doing. We've got a handy haversack, and we are cleaning the room out before we leave. Casting both Hex and Bless on the pizzas. True. So, Iapetus, you hide the coffee beans because you don't want Daedalus to get to them. Can you imagine Daedalus on caffeine? I mean, pure grade Kalimshan caffeine. That's why we're hiding the coffee beans. Ooh, coffee beans covered in chocolate. Interesting idea. I've been considering a lot of things. Like, I've been thinking about making a machine that can store and dispense my various creations. I've been thinking about working on a creation that will allow, like, a familiar that you can eat when you need to. Saw a bard who couldn't handle caffeine. High on caffeine once. It did not go well. Oh, you should see Daedalus. Like, anytime that Daedalus is anywhere around caffeine, it is not a good time.
Endair, you're not going to believe this.
What's that?
There was an entire Kabasi in the minibar.
Really now?
Oh yeah. I think they intended to serve it along with these fine cheese cuts.
So, think of it like this. Iapetus. Like a piece of candy that is alive and that you can interact with for like a short period of time. Like it has an enchantment which brings it to life that it can follow certain commands or what have you, but at the same time, you can still eat it.
Like a chocolate golem?
Kinda. I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, like a tiny, a very tiny, like chocolate toad, that it has an enchantment on it where, like, it'll jump. Or a very, very tiny, like, chocolate golem that is designed to, like, move and walk around and what have you.
Wait, hold on. I think I got something on that. An avenue to pursue, perhaps. What if you combined it with the spell create food and water?
Possible, but isn't the stuff made by that particular spell bland and tasteless?
See, it's I do think that's the case, but here's my thinking, perhaps an avenue. If create food and water creates a lot of food, like a lot of food, maybe it has a finite amount of taste that it spreads around. And instead, if you create only a small amount of food, that's where all the taste goes. It's a ratio sort of thing.
An interesting theory. Greetings, Shinzo. Welcome into the chat. Glad to see you.
This kibasi is not bad. Oh.
What if, like, an ooze, but as a delicious soup? Yes, a soup ooze. Or it could be so much worse. Like, imagine an ooze, but if I wanted to get really bad with this, a mayonnaise ooze.
Oh no! Oh.
It could be worse. I could make an ooze out of something else that's white. Like milk chocolate or white chocolate.
So, I have a in a similar vein. I have a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of I believe it's called a dust method?
Yes.
A dust method made out of chili powder.
Oh, that'd be the perfect familiar for you.
I'm perfectly fine with streaking Koopa as is. But I'm sorry to hear that, Shinzo.
Yeah. I hope that life becomes more kind to you very soon. But hopefully you'll be able to find another career fairly soon. Hopefully your area has some kind of an unemployment system that you'll be able to take advantage of until you're able to find the next line of work.
Exact. Best of luck to you in your search.
Okay, I just thought of something that's both amazing and terrible at the same time. Take the dust method. That's made out of chili powder.
Uh-huh.
And give it Cooper's breath weapon, but it's chili powder.
Oh no. I'm just imagining feeding that poor boy some of the peppers from earlier, and he just comes out and sprays that nonsense. I'd really look into that if it wasn't also potentially cruelty. We'll have to see how much he likes it.
Yeah, you might want to do some research into that before anything.
Mm-hmm. I seem to recall him having something about peppers, but it's been a bit since whoever decided to drop it off did so. So I still have not found who the generous gifter is.
I have no idea. That's the thing about our group. It could be anybody because every single one of us can be conniving when we want to be,
That's true.
except
That's
for
true.
Goldblum. But he's more of an accomplice than anything.
Goldblum is conniving, but unintentionally. He'll just do something underhanded, but based exclusively on context, and not intend to do it as such, anyways.
Hmm.
See, I am wondering though. I'd like to get out and I'd like to spend a little bit more time at the Dead Linguist Society sometimes. It was really tough introducing myself, but there were a couple of like-minded individuals there. And I noticed that, you know, a couple of Iapetus's hunting buddies were also, they were getting a little chummy. Daedalus mentioned that there was a couple at work that he was kind of getting along well with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just something along the lines of we've kind of gravitated towards one another, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I also feel like there's more out there, you know? There's a bunch of students in our classes that would just kind of like pass by and just kind of wave hi and do nothing more.
I can kind of see I can kind of see about that. Because like we all have our various classes, but we all have our clubs, we all have our jobs, but we don't talk a whole lot about our various folks, about the folks in our jobs and what have you. Now, granted, there are like I try to keep in contact with the various people that I'm associated with, be they be they club mates, classmates, workmates, what have you, or, a particular attractive bunny in a nurse outfit.
Yeah, I was curious when that was gonna pop up.
Hey, I love, man. Can't help it.
I ain't judging.
But I do understand what you mean. And I think it's one of those things that we might have to focus on and work more on just a little bit. Like, I'm considering taking a little bit more time and trying to spend more time with some of these people.
Exactly.
Like, Benita is absolutely fascinating, but she can be absolutely terrifying when she wants to be.
How so?
So, she's a second year, right? But she's basically the mom of the group. She has so much big mom energy. She's that kind of person that she walks into the room with full plate and a greatsword, but she makes everybody feel like safe and secure. But she's the first one to always recognize if there's something up with you. Like, you won't even say it. You won't say it, you won't feel it, but she will know. Her perceptive abilities and her capabilities of insight are scary.
always got to be scary about the ones with the emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm. She's the type of person that, whenever you're around her, you always feel like super safe and welcome.
Mm-hmm.
She's also a Luxodon, and she spends half of her day throwing me.
You. That sounds fun, but also a bit terrifying.
A little bit. So, the way that it works is there's Bonita, that is the biggest and the strongest. There's Yavanesh, who is in the medium. I believe he's either part of the Silk Ball team or he's part of the Blood Bowl team. He's an Owlin. He's kind of in the middle. I'm the fastest. She's the strongest. He's kind of in the middle. And when we get orders, because Eoja's warehouse is flippin' massive. I mean, absolutely massive. We have zip lines and elevators to be able to traverse this place. So when we get something like a Kraken's Feast call, we have to move fast. And in order for us to get up to some of the higher places, she has no problem throwing me because I always keep Featherfall prepared.
So that's wise.
So she throws me to get me to the upper levels faster, so I can grab supplies and toss them down to her. We've even gotten to the point how we've started to adapt to each other in the kitchen. Like, we always barely dodge each other.
How big is that? How big is that kitchen?
The kitchen is pretty massive because Frank has to have enough room to move around. There has to be enough room for Frank's tank of water. And given that he's a Kraken, it's pretty massive. Our warehouse is even bigger. It's even bigger than our dorm complex.
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm. Like, we've got elevators, we've got zip lines. That's why I built a zip line tool on top of into my gauntlets, so I can make use of my agility and just run, leap, catch the zip line, and just keep on going.
You could probably teach me a thing or two at that point.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Let's see. I have just saying, have you guys met Mina at the cafe yet? Our shifts tend to overlap. I swear she always has an ear to the ground. Believe it or not, I go to the Bosun Tavern more than I do the Fire Jolt Cafe.
I really should visit the cafe a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, the best time to visit the cafe, at least in my opinion, is the early mornings, and I have a habit of, in the early morning, focusing more on what to do with my day than what I should eat.
Yeah, but at the same time, early morning, everybody's going to be at the cafe because everybody wants their coffee.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
If a customer tips an unseen servant waiter, who does the money go to? Probably the summoner, depending on if the servant is a permanent fixture. Like, I've heard of particular taverns that have an entire wait staff of unseen servants.
Yeah, I've also heard of a couple of taverns not taken too kindly to that. They don't like seeing their food levitating towards them. It feels like they miss that human touch, and it can be a little unsettling.
Yeah, I've heard. So the way the tavern that I've heard of, they had something similar, which is why they have the unseen servants dressed in clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a pair. It's just a set of floating clothes walking towards you with a plate, or with a mug of ale, or what have you. Which is a little bit more terrifying.
I guess it would be. Although I will say, that is a fantastic way to pair with a tailor and get some advertising for both businesses.
I could see that. Ho ho. Iapis is saying, do not go to the cafe in the morning. If you thought Diane was scary in a fight, you don't want to see her waiting for her daily caffeine.
Ho ho ho. Yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea. Iapis, has there been any property damage as a result of that? Color me curious.
We've been so busy. I'm just saying, we've been so busy, I have not stopped by the tavern lately. Well, apparently the owner of the tavern is a cat lady.
Oh, that's nice.
She made particular comment to that when I hung out there in some evenings. That's that's the funny thing. The cat ladies. That's the interesting thing about being a tabaxi. You always attract the attention of the cat ladies, and not the ladies that are cats.
Oh, I was actually very curious about that. Yeah, you know what? I have to wonder, though. As a recent pet owner, it's one of those things where it's like, it's more about... It can be more about just not wanting to deal with people, but still needing that companionship, right?
I can see that.
So, it might not be as many cat ladies as you expect, just as a result. Then again, who am I to say?
I don't know. It seems like if you're a tabaxi or a leonin, it almost feels like they want to kind of graduate from just like, what's the word for this in common? If they want to graduate from just hanging out with a bunch of cats, but they don't want to go to like people yet, it seems like the next step for them would be to go from cats to cat people, and then people.
The ever important missing link in social evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Though, I must admit, the idea of a little old lady with about 3 different cats hooking onto the leg of this titanic Leonin individual who is just perplexed at the whole thing. It's an amusing mental image.
Which makes you wonder who would adopt who first. And would this tiny little old lady give the massive Leonin like some kind of a pet name? And would he or she go with it just to make the said old person happy?
That's up to the person. I will say, though, that little old ladies come in exactly 2 flavors. Soft and sweet like a marshmallow, and made of pure iron.
Yeah.
There is no middle ground.
Yep. like the one that we met during the during entrance orientation.
Yeah. I haven't seen her in a bit. I think Iapetus keeps mentioning wanting to go to the library though. Meeting with her.
Mm-hmm.
That library is full of secrets. I can just feel it in my gut. Much
Oh, no
treasure
doubt.
than Nose is coming in.
I like the fact that there's a cafe inside of the Biblioplex.
Oh, that was such a wise move on their part. Like, who wouldn't want just a nice cup of coffee or something while you're doing some light reading or studying or something? What they could do also, something they could sell or rent out on little trinkets with music in it. I know I like listening to music when I study.
You know, I was thinking about something like that. If I hadn't been so focused on exam time, I would have taken a whole bunch of like rocks or what have you, and used my artificer tinkering to make them play like soothing music to help people study, and just sell those.
Oh, that seems like a smart idea.
Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to do it next time around for during next exams.
You know, I thought about that's for a second while we were discussing it. I thought that might be a good idea to bring up to Belky, but I don't think Belky's particular brand of music would fit well in the Biblioplex while everyone is studying.
Oh, absolutely not. Unless you want like a mosh pit to happen in the Biblioplex, but then again, I believe that there will be more disintegrations than normal.
Yeah, yeah.
Iapetus says, nope, because I usually get Grek to start steeping your tea leaves early. But boy, has there been a close call.
We gotta love it when the heads of the campus get privilege.
Mm-hmm. But then again, that feels like more of a safety concern, you know?
Yeah. You think Naylock drinks coffee?
I'd be surprised if he doesn't drink the souls of the innocent. That man scares the hell out of me.
Oh, he's not that bad. He's bad, don't get me wrong. But he's not like... He's a lot scarier looking than he actually is.
Bro, he tracked me across the planes of existence.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He did.
I tried to hide from him on another plane of existence, and he found me.
Fair enough. I have heard that he has he did do that a few times. Okay, let me rephrase. He is absolutely horrific in terms of scale and abilities in a way that I can't possibly imagine. But I can at least buy that he is not out to get us like a true monster. Because if that were true, we'd already be gone.
Fair. Right now,
Also,
right now, it is, in my opinion, that we are like we are because we are useful to him. Especially Daedalus.
See, I can't comment on that. Well, okay. It's less like he sees us as tools. Because I think I agree with you. I don't think it's that he like sees us as tools or anything like that. More like he's very much focused individual for tasks at hand. So he acknowledges people in terms of this is what is currently happening, this is what needs to be done. Do you get what I'm saying?
He's very focused, goal oriented, and when something needs to be done, he reaches out to the people that needs to get it done.
Exactly. Because do you honestly see someone like Naylock intentionally interacting with the likes of us, and Daedalus in particular? I feel like he would just kind of, if given the opportunity, he would just kind of go back to his own little, I guess Daedalus mentioned he's got his own little pocket dimension. His own little dimension when hours are up over school.
Makes sense.
Which, I'm now seeing why I'm a bit more forgiving of him than some others.
You'd be surprised how quickly perceptions can change on people.
True. After all, I imagine a good chunk of that fear kind of got downplayed when he had a word with Morg in our presence. Kind of destroyed the aloof robot of doom vibe that he usually has going on.
Still, he showed that his anger can go to that level, and at the same time, I don't want that anger turned in our direction.
Valid.
There's a reason why I friggin' hid at that point. The moment I saw him, I hid. I up to saying, he scared the batshit out of Belky before, and Naylock does not seem evil, but his motives are unclear. He's an emotional enigma, unless angered.
That's a good way of putting it. Something is up with Naylock and Belky, I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't want to pry. Something's always just a little bit off when it comes to Belky.
Yeah, I can see that. Then again, every one of us has something a little bit off about us.
I mean, that's fair and that's true, but like, how did Belky know about the rod?
Didn't. Hasn't she said that the rod is like her family's, or it's somebody's that she knows or something like that? That's why she took possession of it at the... Didn't she take possession of it? I don't know. That entire thing was kind of blurry, and I blacked out in the middle of it.
She mentioned that it was part of her family's. She didn't elaborate more on that.
All she told me was that she went to see Naylock and then ran into me afterwards. I don't know the details, but she was shaken that day before we went to see her dad.
Just a whole mess, isn't it?
This entire situation is a mess.
I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what Belky has with Naylock. I don't know what connection her family, I guess, has with this rod. Like, she came out of nowhere just with this information, and it was very believable. Like, I fully believed Belky. I still do. But the fact that she is to be believed here has its own connotations, you know?
But the question is, how did she get this information all of a sudden? Like, where did it come from, and how did she get it?
Mm-hmm. And she's being particularly coy about it. How did Uh, how come her father knows the name of a being whose name should never be repeated? What is up with them?
I have no idea about that kind of thing. But at the same time, her isn't her father strong enough that he can become like it doesn't her father have some kind of a tie with Atimony?
Yeah, like I think I think Intimity's like interning for him or something.
Hmm.
Apparently, here's the here's the real thing that's the fly in the ointment. Like there's a lot, trust me, there's a lot going on. Everything with Intimity, this Rod thing. Apparently her dad knows Naylock personally. And vice versa. I mean, if
Naylock
Belky's
doesn't
dead,
seem like the type that would get to know somebody unless he needs to or he has to. Which is concerning.
exactly.
I have to saying, I mean, if Belky's dad is Atimony's patron of sorts, he has to be very strong.
Oh shit, is that the actual term? Was that the term they threw around? Patron?
Oh, hey, the shop got updated.
Oh, nice. You know what? I'm gonna put this one back in the box. This is a particular thread I do not feel like following right now.
That might be something that we might have to talk to Belky about.
Probably. Something for after the trip's over. You gotta be careful on adventures like this, after all.
Remember when we were trying to contact someone? Atimony was helping us with that.
Right, there were.
That's why she says she was tiptoeing around it.
More mysteries upon more mysteries. Though, it is... I guess it is right. We don't exactly know the full relation, but... Oof. That is a deep well that Belky has found herself in.
Every time it feels like every time we figure something out, there's another question that makes itself a priority.
And that's not even just Belky. That's just everything at the school.
Mm-hmm. I don't like the way that this new shop is. It feels like I have less space. I had space
It's
for
that-
9 before.
I think it's that set of tables in the middle. There's not really that middle room for everyone to walk around.
Yeah, but at the same time, I had a lot of space on both sides, but I lost one because of the counters.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's a matter of trying to figure out how to reorganize everything. I think I finally got enough for this quest. Oh, new bedroom storage. Nice.
Are you still paying off debts? Does that one joke keep coming up with new debts for you to just like out of his hat?
Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah. So I've been playing the game on my own personal time, and there is 3 sets of debts for you that you have to go through.
Oh,
There's 2,000, 10,000, and I can't remember the third. I think it's 2, 10, and then 200,000. But every time you
way to go, mom and dad.
Yep. But every time that you oh, don't even get me started on mom and dad. Every time it's basically it locks you behind story. Every time you pay off a debt, you unlock a new area.
Wait, so all of the areas are like gate kept by the same debtor. You pay off a debt and it unlocks new stuff.
Yep. That's the mechanics of the game, at least.
Convenient, I suppose.
So, like, when I paid up the 2,000, I gained access to the fire area. And when I pay off this 10,000, I gain access to the ice area. And when I pay that 200k, I'll gain access to the next area. Ooh, now those look good. Barbecue ribs? Mmm.
Ribs are delicious.
That kind of gives me an idea. Like maybe beef ribs for the cook-off.
I mean, what's wrong with appealing to one's inner carnivore, right?
I mean, I have to use for the main dish. I have to use beef. There has to be beef, and there has to be a hearty. The side has to be hearty, and it has to be made out of potato. I think.
Beef and potatoes. What potato based would go well with beef ribs then?
I was thinking either, but at the same time, I don't want to go too fancy because this is a tavern, this is a pub, and I don't want like a gourmet meal in the middle of a pub. I want it to be pub food.
So not quite the same brand of recipes as when you cooked for the dragons.
Exactly. I appreciate you stopping by, True American Reject. What I'm thinking is either, like, I'm thinking either a steak with a baked potato, a burger with like wedges of potato and maybe some kind of a sauce to go with it, or maybe some kind of beef ribs and some kind of a potato dish along with it. The appetizer has to be some kind of, the first course has to be some kind of seafood, so I'm thinking about like a seafood stew to lead us off.
That could be good. I remember seeing someone making like some sort of soup out of seafood that could be good, but I guess that would fall in the same category.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe you mentioned earlier something about cutting up and frying potatoes together into like sticks. Maybe you could do that with instead of the place of your potato wedges.
Yeah. They basically be wedges, but they'd be much thinner, crispier wedges.
Gotcha.
The dessert is going to be tricky because there was all kinds of specifications for the dessert.
So that might be the real test.
Mm-hmm. Like what was it? I have to go back and and try to remember what it was. I think it was like a 10-layer cheesecake or something like that.
Oh, it's still my beating heart. Literally, because I ate that and now my heart stopped.
But it'd have to be something that is thin and rich. But it has to be flavors that would go along well with each other.
That's making me think of some sort of a pudding dish.
One idea I
Like,
was tossing about is alternating layers, since if memory serves right and it is a cheesecake, maybe alternating layers of two different flavors, like say chocolate and peanut butter cheesecake.
that could be tasty. I feel like this would be a great place to add in some caramel.
True. I mean, we do have caramel cake here here on the game.
Something to draw inspiration from then.
Absolutely.
Iapetus is suggesting a shepherd's pie to go with the meat and potatoes, I think. No, Iapetus. Well, we're not sold on the peanut butter yet. Don't get entirely excited.
Thing about shepherd's pie is good, but at the same time, shepherd's pie might work, given that I did a shepherd's pie for the founders. I think I made a mistake saying the PB word to Iapetus.
Iapetus, you really do love peanut butter, don't you?
That's the weird thing. Whenever I cook with peanut butter, I always do like my best work, like as good as I possibly can with peanut butter.
See, ain't no one blaming you, Iapetus. See, I feel like peanut butter is one of those things where it's like, it's so good that you forget how good it actually is, and then you just rediscover it randomly, like haphazardly.
Yeah.
And you're reminded, and the cycle just repeats itself. Dang, now I'm getting a craving for some peanut butter.
So what I'm thinking is I'm thinking about taking like peanut butter, sugar, some chocolate, and maybe some Rice Crisps, and making like a ball, like a small firm ball of peanut butter, then covering it in chocolate and baking it.
Ooh, that's not a terrible idea. But if I may make a suggestion, well, this might not work if you bake, because I haven't actually done this as a bake option. But my pa used to make a dessert that's similar to that, except there is no baking, there's no chocolate cover, but instead of like rice, you use flakes made out of corn, like something. It's something that you occasionally see as a breakfast food.
Right. The flakes of corn is meant to hold it together, kind of like a meatloaf.
Exactly.
heard of some people taking thinly sliced potatoes and alternating layers of potato and cheese. That could be an idea, like a scallop potatoes.
Oh, I bet you could throw in a little bit of bacon in there.
Absolutely. That would be hearty. It would be potatoes, and it would allow me to cook one pan and serve it to a number of people at the same time, which would save on my spices. Interesting idea. And I suppose it doesn't hurt that that all these dishes that you're going to be practicing, Iapetus, you're going to have to cook them with me and then try them with me. So you're going to be having a lot of these particular dishes. Especially since you're going to be the one in my kitchen. Which means if we do cook with peanut butter, I'm going to have to make sure that you don't eat all of my peanut butter.
What a horrible sacrifice you must make, Iapetus. What a good friend you are, and what you need to do.
I can show restraint, I swear.
Alright, but hear me out, though. Hold on. Remind me, we gave Goldblum over to the other team, right?
Correct.
Alright, so it'd probably be disingenuous to use him as a measure for testing on stuff.
Well, the thing is, if we use Goldblum to test, then he might have knowledge about what we're doing going in. But at the same time, we gave Goldblum to the other team because, one, that would look well on us, because we didn't want to give them somebody bad and sabotage them because that would look bad on us. But at the same time, we kind of want to sabotage them just a little bit.
Not a sabotage, but complication.
Exactly. Because the thing about Goldblum is, he is extremely literal, which can be both great and terrible in the kitchen.
Which is why I was thinking he'd be a great critic for food testing.
Mm-hmm.
That man will not mince words, and he will be able to provide the best critiques you could possibly fathom. Pardon me. One moment.
Of course. I bet he's going to dig into the minibar again. He technically is the rock in their shoe because of his straightforward nature. Exactly. That's what we planned, I believe.
There wasn't anything good to drink at the minibar.
Shame.
I found these almonds.
Ooh.
That's about it.
That sounds good.
Here they are. Let me choose that. Oh, they're flavored.
I prefer honey roasted myself.
These are like closer to barbecue, I think. But as far as prep work, of the rest of the group, if Goldblum is unavailable and Iapetus is in the kitchen with you, I would probably say that Daedalus would be the next best bet. The question is if we can actually keep the reasoning under the tip of the hat until the day.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you believe that Daedalus would be doing? Because Daedalus, I'll be totally honest with you. I'm surprised Daedalus hasn't started bugging Goldblum for good berries so he doesn't have to eat anymore.
Exactly. That's the point. That man does not care about taste of food. He is purely practical. Which means that if we get something that absolutely knocks the socks off, think of it like the high bar, if you will.
Ah, okay. Using him like a very hypercritical critic.
Exactly. If you can pass by the function over form, then and you get to the other side of this is actually delicious, I think you have a winner.
I mean, as soon as he learns about the good berries or like the beads of beads of refreshment and the beads of nourishment, I don't think he's ever going to eat again.
Not unless you guilt him into it.
Fair.
I'd rather we not go down that particular route.
Although,
That's Iapetus's job.
though I wonder how guilt works on a drow.
Unfortunately, I think I would be kind of a poor pick for taste testing.
Oh?
Don't get me wrong, I'd love the food, but I don't think I'd be a strong enough critic when it comes to, you know how it is. It's like, I'm sure you've been in a situation, right, as a creative type, where you come out with this dish that you worked ever so hard on, and you give it to someone and they say, wow, I love it, this is amazing. And then you cook for the same person and you make something that is slapdash, and you just had to kind of put something together, and they also respond with, wow, this is amazing. You know?
You don't have the experience. They don't have the experience to be able to tell the difference. They don't have that. They don't have a well-rounded palate enough to be able to differentiate the amazing from the not so great, so to say.
Exactly. And admittedly, I think I might attribute that to ingesting a little too much spice every now and then. Or it could be a racial thing, who knows?
Maybe. What I do know is that I'm going to need to start harvesting and collecting more various spices. There's a question. So my Heward's handy spice pouches allow me to pull whatever spice I need at any given time. I wonder if I can use it to get increasingly spicier foods.
Ooh, now that is interesting. Like start with a bar and start setting it higher and higher and higher.
You've given me a challenge.
I aim to please.
Is there something that I can make that is too spicy for the tiefling to eat?
I will accept your challenge, but I have my own condition. Whatever you make, you cannot have the spice entirely eclipse the flavor of the rest of the dish.
So it can't be just spice for the sake of spice. it has to be a flavorful spice.
Exactly. Now, the right combination of spices will absolutely get you that. But simply, here, enjoy this pepper that's, makes you actually breathe fire. That's the easy way out. No, no, no. For you, my chef-based friend, we need something delicious along with it.
Challenge accepted. I look forward to
Wonderful.
figuring this out.
You can wait until after. You can have this particular challenge after we may not have to do 100 days of work at a bar. We'll focus on that first.
Worst case scenario, that's going to be an opportunity for us to make a lot of connections because apparently he's got a lot of very interesting connections and business partners.
It's true. I'm wondering honestly though if our dwarven friend is one of those connections. I believe they mentioned that he was going to be one of the people who was going to be fed in a judge.
I mean, we did meet him at that particular tavern. Ooh, maki rolls. I think maki rolls are part of the Kraken feast.
Ooh. I'm not a fan of fish, but for some reason sushi kind of gets underneath that particular bar.
Really?
I do not know why. If you ask me, I could not give you a reason.
Maybe because it's raw and not cooked. Like cooked has that fishy flavor and that fishy texture.
Might also be that sushi tends to be a bit more. It has a lot going on as opposed to just fish as the primary thing.
Mm-hmm. I like how you can just all of a sudden change the wallpaper and change the flooring. Just easy peasy, and it's done.
I feel the same way about when you spellcasters say that you don't need to shower and you just do prestidigitation. You're just done.
Ugh. Wow. Now, granted, water is a very interesting, has a very interesting relationship with me, but I think we're going to save that for another time.
Hey, I'm not one to pry.
You know, the thing about it's one of those things where it's required because prestidigitation doesn't get rid of like shed fur.
I'll take your word on it.
I do eventually want to work with Crab. Crab is amazing.
I don't think I've actually had crab before. Is it any different from traditional seafood?
From what I understand, crab is kind of a sweet, sweet meat.
Oh.
Apparently it's a thing where wizards tend to take prestidigitation instead of actually bathing with soap.
It's true. See, I've heard tales in particular of like there was a wizard with such terrible teeth that he couldn't brush at all. So he just had to prestidigitation his breath over and over and over again. That is really a handy little spell, isn't it?
It is. You know what? We have been going for about 3 hours, and I am very hungry. I know you're hungry, Salas. What do you say
Ho, ho,
we
ho.
drop? Why do you say we go ahead and end this stream, and you and me go out and go down to the restaurant downstairs and grab something.
Oh, absolutely. We still got like half of this kibasi left. Let's see if we can find anything that pairs well with it.
Oh, that sounds amazing. If you're inside of the area, you are more than welcome to join us. But I think it's about time that we send some. What is it that Daedalus calls it? A raid, I think. But I want to take a moment and thank everybody for coming in, hanging out, having fun, spending the afternoon with me. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Thank you so much for stopping by. And until next time, we will see you later. Also, if you're interested, stop by this particular Saturday because we're going to be having another adventure and continuing our field trip. Have a good one, y'all.
See you later.